Have you noticed something strange lately? A 22-year-old looks 30, a 30-year-old looks 24. Scroll through TikTok, scroll through Instagram, and something feels different. Gen Z, the youngest adult generation, often looks older than millennials did at the same age. And no, this isn't nostalgia, it isn't bad lighting, and it's definitely not kids these days. It's psychological. Because this isn't really about aging, it's about pressure. And Gen Z grew up under more of it than any generation before. Your nervous system keeps score. Gen Z didn't just grow up with the internet, they grew up inside it. They were the first generation to form their identity under constant observation. Middle school wasn't awkward and forgotten. It was recorded, posted, judged, shared. Every insecurity had an audience. And when your brain develops under evaluation, it adapts. Chronic stress increases cortisol. Cortisol affects inflammation. Inflammation affects skin. Sleep gets disrupted. But it's not just physical. It's facial tension, subtle jaw tightness, less relaxed posture, micro-expressions shaped by comparison. Millennials had social media. Gen Z had algorithmic social media. There's a difference. One was connection. The other is optimization. Gen Z grew up optimizing themselves, and optimization is exhausting. Now, add something else. During their most formative years, late teens and early 20s, the world shut down. Isolation, uncertainty, fear. Millennials experienced the pandemic as disruption. Gen Z experienced it as interruption of identity formation. Those are the years when you experiment, make social mistakes, build confidence. Instead, many learned anxiety, caution, digital dependency. That kind of compression changes how someone carries themselves. They don't look older because they aged faster. They look older because they adapted faster. And adaptation hardens expression. Now let's talk about what you're really seeing. Gen Z's beauty standards are different. Millennials popularized youthful glow. Gen Z normalized structured polish. Sharp contour, defined brows, neutral tones, corporate core fashion, minimalist aesthetics. These styles mimic mature bone structure. Add to that the normalization of preventative Botox at 23, fillers at 21. You don't look older, you look refined. But refinement reads as age. It's not biology, it's branding. Gen Z didn't grow up wanting to look young. They grew up wanting to look established, because stability feels rare. There's also a technology factor. Millennials grew up with soft focus cameras, grainy Facebook albums, low-resolution selfies, blurry memories. Gen Z grew up in 4K, hyper-detailed front cameras, ring lights, constant documentation. High definition doesn't forgive texture. What you interpret as older may simply be clarity. Millennials looked younger partly because they were blurry. Gen Z looks older partly because they're exposed. Now, here's the psychological core. Gen Z compares horizontally, not just to celebrities, to peers. Thousands of peers, every single day. Income comparisons, fitness comparisons, relationship comparisons, achievement comparisons. At 21, they see 21-year-olds who own businesses, have perfect routines, travel constantly, monetize hobbies. Even if most of it is curated, your brain doesn't process it as curated. It processes it as competition. And competition changes expression. You don't smile the same when you're measuring yourself. You calculate. Calculation ages the face, not physically, emotionally. If this made you see things differently, subscribe, because we break down the psychology behind the culture you're living in, not to blame it, to understand it. And when you understand it, you stop letting it control you.